Good evening. Good evening, advisory councils. Hello, hello. Happy New Year. Hello, hello. Welcome to Annapolis. Welcome to the kickoff session for our advisory councils. I am so thrilled that you all are here spending a beautiful, crisp evening, January evening with us in Annapolis. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope everybody was able to grab some dinner. This is the first time I've ever seen food at a comptroller event. We're pretty cheap, so enjoy it while you can get it. For those who don't know me, I am Brooke Lierman. I am honored to serve as the 34th Comptroller of Maryland, the first woman to ever hold this position. Thank you. And I am so honored, really humbled that you are taking time out of your very busy lives on a Monday evening to join us tonight. And also, I should say, very honored that you are taking time out over the next couple years to help make sure that we are doing what needs to be done and that we are sharing what we are doing with your communities and communities across the state. So thank you. Thank you for answering the call to serve as a member of one of our advisory councils. These advisory councils came to fruition because when I was running for comptroller, I went around the state talking to people, and so many folks said, well, I have an idea and I want to tell my community. And when we were leading our transition team, we just realized we can't do this alone, right? We have a great team. We are 1,300 people strong on Team Comptroller, but we cannot do all the work that we need to do and hear from all the people we need to hear from and share the messages we need to send without folks like you to help us. So thank you for stepping up to do this work. I want to start by digging into what I love to start with, which is what on earth is a comptroller. So in case you didn't watch our video, I want to just recap and remind everyone what it is you're signing up for, what on earth the comptroller is. So when you go and talk to some friends tomorrow and you say, yeah, I was at this kickoff event for our advisory councils for the comptroller, and they're like, what is a comptroller? You can tell them. So just as a refresher, Office of Comptroller, we are like the elected CFO of the state of Maryland, right? I think of us in three buckets. In that elected CFO role, we do our revenue estimates, we pay out unclaimed property, we make sure that we are the voice, an independently elected economic voice for the people of Maryland. Second, I serve as a fiscal watchdog and an independently elected member of many state boards. You know them as the Board of Public Works, the BPW, the SRPS, our State Retirement and Pension System Board. We've got the Commission on Climate Change. We've got Ms. BIDFA. If you give me 3 or 4 letters, I'll turn them into an acronym for a board that I'm on. But it is an honor, truly, to do this work. And then, of course, my final role as state comptroller is to be our tax refunder. So there too, really important work that we are doing to make sure we have the revenue in our state to do the things that must be done. And when I first took office, I made a promise not just to manage this agency, but to reimagine what it could be for the people of Maryland, to transform this role from one of passive oversight to proactive stewardship. And that is why we adopted a new mission in our agency to work in partnership to create a state that is more equitable, more resilient, and more prosperous so that every Marylander can reach their full potential. And you are the partners we need to do that. So give yourselves a round of applause. So the work that we're doing to meet that vision really centers around 3 core priorities, some of which you saw in the video, and I'll elaborate on a bit more. First, we are implementing critical agency-wide improvements to help make government work better. Since I took office almost exactly 3 years ago, we have implemented over 70 modernization projects around our agency. From the ground to the sky, literally, we have replaced fiber so that we have connectivity in our offices, and built cell phone towers so we can use our cell phones in our offices, and everything in between. Second, we're ensuring our agency's resources and expertise create opportunities for all Marylanders and Maryland businesses. We want to help them navigate our available resources. We created the role of small business director. We're moving our systems in a way that's more user-friendly. And third, we're positioning all Marylanders and businesses for long-term economic success. We've released important policy research papers that many of you have seen and highlighted and helped with and alluded to. We have a great Office of Public Engagement. All of these are new things in the past 3 years. And now most people tell me they can't imagine the Office of the Comptroller ever without these things again. So, yay. This coming year, we have work to do. We'll continue making progress on our modernization projects. We'll continue working towards updating our financial management information system, launching our brand new personal tax system in August, and making sure that as many eligible Marylanders as possible can access important tax credits like the Earned Income Tax Credit. Next, I want to talk about this work and why we do it. This is the work that really helps us build a more affordable state, understand the challenges we face, and meet Marylanders where they are so we can all move forward together. This moment here in Maryland really brings levels of uncertainty to our communities, right? We know that we're facing an existential crisis as a nation, but I think it's also really deeply personal here in Maryland. You saw probably last week at the Board of Public Works meeting, we announced that last year, just through November, we lost 24,900 jobs in Maryland, federal jobs. We know that many of our immigrant communities feel under attack, and we are blessed to live in an incredibly diverse state where we benefit from having so many immigrants working alongside us. And we know that from coffee to clothes, the costs of everyday goods are rising. We're seeing evidence of what economists call a K-shaped economy, where wealthier households and businesses are doing better on that upward leg, and those without are doing worse and worse, growing the inequality that we see in the nation. And we see this struggle reflected in our housing market. Many of you saw our housing report that we put out. And of course, our federal government is no longer a reliable partner. These actions, I think, are more than headlines. They're impacting our neighbors, our families, our friends, and we are all working together to be a voice of clarity and certainty and help for our neighbors and communities, and that's part of your job and mandate as well. As a state agency, the Office of the Comptroller, we are here to provide the data, the analysis, the perspective needed to help families, communities, businesses, and our state agencies reach their goals, access resources to build the lives they dream of, and more. And doing this successfully requires that we understand how to work not just for our communities, but also with them, with each of you and the many, many people that you represent. Because when you sit at the table here, you're here for a reason. You're here to represent what your lived experience is, but also all of those around you, whether it's in the business community and the business associations that you work with, or your faith community and the faith tradition you serve, or our local elected officials, our labor unions, or women's groups. All of you are here representing something larger, and we're so thrilled and delighted to have your perspective. Your presence on our advisory councils helps us to meet people where they are. Over the next 2 years, you will strengthen this agency's support and engagement with Maryland's businesses, faith leaders, labor leaders, local governments, new Americans, women, tax practitioners, and environmental advocates. We will look to you to share feedback on our programs, advise us on our policies, and enhance our research and our outreach. Source and amplifier, helping more Marylanders learn of and benefit from our programs and our research and our expertise, whether that be tax filing support, tax credits that save money, research we put out, climate information, or more. Through it all, we will be working collaboratively, offering clarity and benefiting from the perspectives that you provide. Thank you.
It's a really tough act to follow. My gosh. I'll focus on a few of the words that the comptroller said. The first one that stands out to me is prosperity. She has a beautiful slogan: equity, resilience, prosperity. In my mind, prosperity sums up all of those things. You can't prosper, we can't prosper unless it's with resilience, unless it's with equity. This must be behind everything that we do as a government. She said the word stewardship. Never in my life have I worked for somebody that approaches things in the way that our comptroller does. She digests information, she understands challenges, she understands opportunities, she gets into the weeds when that's appropriate, and she gets to know the individuals involved, okay? She takes that and she blends that with an overarching view of stewardship in the way that she approaches our business. And I can't thank you enough for bringing that to us. Our agency, as the comptroller noted, does so much. The breadth of our operations are significant. I'm going to go to a little bit of a lower level of detail. We will bring in 12 million different payments and tax returns throughout the year. We will pay out 3 million refunds totaling $4 billion, okay? We will pay out earned income credits to 500,000 households totaling about $500 million, all right? This is money that we are helping to pump into the economy at the right time. We do it faster than anybody in the country does. 90% of our refunds are out in 2 days. 2 days. It gets there when people need the money. We need your input. There's so many people here from the comptroller's office. Can you stand up if you're with the comptroller's office? We have an amazing team that brings together a broad swath of knowledge, but the reality is, when we have to do our work, it's often 5 or 6 of us in a room trying to figure out what we need to do to best benefit the 6 million Marylanders, the 3 million households, the 400,000 businesses. It's unrealistic for us to bring all those perspectives into that one room. We need you. We so appreciate you coming together, volunteering your time, doing more than advising, but working with us to make sure that we bring those perspectives into the decisions that we'll make, into the products that we'll build to serve Marylanders. So I just can't thank you all enough for really being here tonight, being here throughout this year to support us and help us make the right decisions so we can bring a Maryland that brings out prosperity in all of us. Thank you. And I'd like to introduce our wonderful Chief of Staff, Rihanna Matthews-Brown.
Great. Hi, everybody. I'm Rihanna Matthews-Brown. I'm the Comptroller's Chief of Staff. Really excited to see you all here today. I also have the privilege of helping to staff our Faith Leaders Advisory Council over here. So I already got a chance to meet many of you and see many new faces and old faces. So thank you again. So you all have already heard from the Comptroller about the agency, what we do, what the Comptroller does. Andy's talked a bit about our operations. There's so much to this agency, and I say this as somebody who was completely new to the Comptroller's office before I came in with the Comptroller as her Chief of Staff. I want to take a few minutes and talk about the important role that you all are now going to play as members of our advisory councils. As the Comptroller mentioned, advisory councils in this more formal way are really new to the agency. It's something that emerged from her transition. Her transition team was highlighted in the transition report and then was an immediate early priority of the Comptroller. So we've gone through 2 years, and now this is the second iteration of our advisory councils. As it was originally developed, the advisory councils are really intended to be a formal and ongoing way for you all to engage with the agency, right? We have to meet at least quarterly. Some meet a little bit more, but at least quarterly, you all will be meeting, whether it's virtually or hybrid or in person. And you will be regularly helping to advise us and help us to tackle some complicated and challenging issues that we're dealing with as an agency. Now, I have to warn you that while we call these advisory councils, we really put you all to work. So while, I think it's opportunities for you all to give us advice and guidance, we also are really looking for you all to help guide us along the way and point us in the right direction. So first, I want to give a few examples of some type of work that our advisory councils have done over the last 2 years. We have had advisory councils help to co-host business training sessions. They have provided expert advice on key issues related to climate risk. They have advised us on legislation, come and testified in support of legislation that we've put forward. We actually convened a bit of an ad hoc modernization group. So it was representatives from each of the advisory councils that we pulled together on a regular basis to advise us on our new IT projects. They helped to give us feedback on our website. They scrolled through, they told us what links didn't work, what pieces didn't make sense. We went and implemented and incorporated their feedback. We've gotten some great interns, and I cannot say thank you enough for several of our advisory council members. We've created a bit of kind of an ongoing internship program. We've had interns in our IT division, in government affairs, and public engagement. Those are relationships that were built through our advisory council members. And I would say, really importantly, they also were the voices of their community. We had members of our New American work groups telling us about different cultural events going on, highlighting some new, emerging needs within their communities. And I really can't thank you all enough, especially for the members who are returning for the work that you did. So now let's talk about what's next. So now that you are here, we've kicked off, we've said thank you. Again, we're going to be putting you to work. You'll have some time to convene together. I'm going to get over to my faith groups over here, and we'll be able to talk and introduce yourselves and also start to brainstorm about, issues you want to make sure that we're thinking about, partnerships that you want to make sure that we're building and developing. I view this as not a one and done. This is our first of many conversations. I really, can't say thank you enough, and really want to really, shout out our staff members who are going to be at the tables. So they're going to be jotting down notes and taking down, information, based on the discussion here, and then they're going to be moving forward with creating a bit of a work plan with you all for your work over the next 2 years. Again, I really want to thank the comptroller, of course, thank my brother from another mother over here, Andy Schaffel. He's my partner in a lot of this work, and so just want to thank you all for the opportunity to work here. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Andy and Rihanna. Thank you again. Can I have, if you are a member of Team Comptroller and you are leading an advisory council, can you stand up, please? We're going to have, folks are just going to, yes, we can give them a round of applause, thank you. But I'm just going to have each of them shout their name, say loudly their name and their advisory council, just so you can know who is doing what around the room. And we'll start with Andy and Rihanna. You want to start and say which ones you work with? Andy and then Rihanna. Go ahead.
Tax advisory over there with Rachel Sessa.
Yep, go ahead. Yeah, Rihanna.
And I've got Faith. I know I've got 2 tables over here.
Yep, go ahead, around the room.
Danny, I have Women's Economic Empowerment.
Great,
Janelle, I have Business Advisory Council.
great.
Kim, Climate Advisory Council.
Hi, Andy Overton, Faith.
Uh-huh.
Sergio Polanco, immigrant communities, and we're New Americans.
Great.
Nicole Johnson, Financial Literacy.
Great.
Stephanie Okafor, New American Advisory Council, Sergio.
Woo-hoo. Yeah,
Floyd, Staff Advisory Council.
great.
Tax Practitioner.
Woo.
Michael Baird, Local Government Advisory Council.
Yeah, local elected officials. So a huge thank you to all of Team Comptroller who helped pull this together. A thank you to all of you. Look, folks, now we're going to dive into the work. So your first job is to introduce yourself to each other, and your advisory council team leader is going to come around, meet you, and talk to you about what is next. So thank you so much for being here. I'll be walking around to say hi to everybody, and let's get to work. Thanks.